Hello, everyone, and welcome into Meet the Coach. We're now talking to the head coach and the athletic coordinator at University High School, Coach Kent Laster. Coach, first off, congratulations on getting the job and welcome to Waco.
Thank you. I'm very blessed to be at Waco University, and I'm proud to be in the Waco community.
I was just talking to you previously. You played at Lake Highlands High School up in the Dallas area. Is that where you originally from?
Yes, sir. Graduated from Lake Highlands and was a football and track athlete there, and went on to play college football after I graduated.
When you were at Lake Highlands, who was your head football coach back then?
My head football coach was Mike Zafuto.
Okay.
So had a lot of fun times playing for him. And Plano High School was in that district. Richardson, I know, has played some Waco teams in the past, but Mike Zafuto was a great coach for us.
Yeah, he's been there a long time, one of those long-time coaches in the Metroplex.
Absolutely. He passed back in 2011, but he had a really good, he had several stops, but he had a really good time when he coached at Lake Highlands and did a great job.
Now, you say you also ran track. Did you, after you left Lake Highlands, did you play football and run track, or where'd you do that?
Absolutely. Yeah. So I got a scholarship to play football at Texas State University. It used to be Southwest Texas State University in San Marcos, and I didn't run track, but I did play football there, and was able to letter all 4 years.
Outstanding. When in the process did it come to the decision to become a coach?
You know, I tell people a lot, my decision to be a coach happened a long time ago. Of course, me being a young football player, I thought I was going to go play in the NFL, and I knew I wanted to play in college, so I had to, in order to make it to the NFL, I had to be a college athlete. And of course, I wanted to play high school football. But once I was done with all that, I knew I wanted to be a head coach. I probably knew I wanted to be a coach as young as about 10 or 11 years old.
Was there anyone that influenced you toward that, a coach that maybe you thought, man, I want to do what he's doing?
Absolutely. Every one of my coaches that I had from Pee Wee football all the way up to college were great influences on me. Every one of the assistant coaches on my high school staff became head coaches. And they were great men of character, and I knew that was a path that I wanted to go. I had a passion for football, and I was able to fortunately, right out of college, get a job coaching at the collegiate level. And I definitely credit me going into the coaching profession to my high school coaches.
You've coached at the college level, at the high school level. Those are very different jobs. Tell me a little bit about how different they are, especially when it comes to recruiting.
Absolutely. You know, in high school, for the most part, you coach the kids that come up through your program. In college, you can recruit the talent that comes into your program. And I was fortunate. I was 24 years old, and I got into college coaching and recruiting right off the bat, and sort of hit the ground running and bounced around at a lot of different places. And that experience was really good. I went from Ouachita Baptist to Texas State to Samford University in Birmingham, Alabama, Middle Tennessee State, UT Martin, and all those experiences, obviously, they were instrumental in my growth as a coach, and it was quite different, obviously, from high school. But at the end of the day, football is very similar. It's the same. The kids. There's 11 kids on the field, and you're coaching the game, but the development of a 7th, 8th, 9th grader to 12th grade is really dramatic as comparison to a freshman in college to their senior year. And it's been very rewarding on both sides of it. I'm very fortunate to have done both.
You've been fortunate enough to coach with a lot of coaches. You guys also attend coaching schools, learn a lot from each other. Is there a coach out there that you've taken a lot of your football philosophy from?
If I had to pick one, that'd be really difficult. I really believe I borrowed a lot. When it comes to running a high school program, I've molded a lot of our core values and things that we emphasize regarding discipline and accountability, all the way back to my high school coach, Mike Zafuto, who we talked about. Now, as far as the ins and outs of how to coach in today's game, I've gone back to a lot what I've learned over the last maybe 10 years, 15 years. So X's and O's, I've been around some really good coaches, guys like Doug Meacham, Tom Herman, Marcus Satterfield, who was at Baylor University. I worked with all those guys, and Bradley Del Pivoto. I could name a bunch of names as far as the X's and O's, but as far as a high school program, I really lean on a lot of coaches that I respect. People like Josh Gibson, who's at Pleasant Grove, and the way we structure my philosophy regarding athletics, from being a line and all that. A lot of coaches in Frisco ISD, from Coach Kirkendall on down to all the guys that I respect. A good friend of mine who I went to high school with, who's the head coach in Bernie, Shea Hendricks. So there's a lot of different coaches that I know personally, that I've even reached out to mentor me and my growth as being a head coach. That's molded the way I've been a head coach.
Been just kind of like a sponge, just taking it all in and then dribbling it right back out.
Absolutely, absolutely. There's a lot of great coaches in Texas high school football, and there's a lot to learn. And every year I'm trying to learn something new. We even as a staff went and visited with another coaching friend of mine from Denton Geyer, who I went to high school with, Coach Reed Heim, and Rodney Webb, who's the president of Texas High School Coaches Association. We got to spend time with them, and even a guy like Phil Dawson, who kicked 20 years in the NFL. We even had a Zoom call with him and my staff, and we talked nothing but special teams. So there's a lot there, and but at the end of the day, X's and O's are one thing, but as far as your core values and what you stand for and the foundation that we have, I brought in a lot of different things that I've learned over the years, and I'm very fortunate to have them here at university.
Yeah, that's one thing about coaching. It's not just the X's and O's. There's a lot of other things that go into coaching, especially at the high school level, because you're worried about graduation rates. You got to worry about discipline on and off the field. It's a very challenging field.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's the thing about it. We have a tremendous responsibility when it comes to young people. I think when I was coming up, a lot of the structure and discipline that I looked for, that I gravitated towards, was right there in the locker room and on the field with our high school coaches. And I'm very appreciative, and that's why I talk a lot about my high school coaches like Mike Zafuto, Harry Everett, Kenny Wheaton, J.B. Wallace, on and on and on, Jim Ledford, also on that staff. And again, they were all head coaches, or they became head coaches. And so I lean heavily on a lot of those life lessons that they taught me as a young man, and even as a coach. A lot of them I reach out to throughout the year. And I just love hearing what they have to say, because it's, as a head coach and as a father, I like to know what what they've done as being head coaches and being fathers, and how they've been able to have that balancing act of being a dad at home and a husband at home, but also being a coach on the field. And so again, I'm appreciative of all those people.
You've had a chance now to work with the athletes over at University High School. What's your impressions of what you have dealt for yourself?
I'm really fortunate to be there, and going in, I didn't really know the talent level that was there. Now I know there's a lot of talent there, and there's a lot of potential. But I tell those guys, potential is a scary word for me, because it's unfulfilled. You got to fulfill it. And Central has won some key games over the years, but we want to be consistent. We want to win and turn the program into a winning program and a playoff bound program. And those kind of things are something that I've already done. I got to do that at Little Rock Central when they had been down for a long time, and we had winning season and won their first playoff game here in 2020. And those are the kind of things I want our kids, the expectations I want our kids to have. And so although we're talented, we've got to continue to establish ourselves in our work ethic, our accountability, and the things that are going to make us successful every game, not just one game here or there.
Coach Laster, congratulations on the job. Welcome to Waco, and best of luck at University High School.
Thank you very much.
That's Kent Laster, the new head coach and athletic coordinator at University High School.